Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Nick Gray, and today we're doing another smartphone camera comparison with the all-new Oppo Find X9 Ultra and comparing that with Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra to see how these two devices stack up in everyday use. Let's take a look. For video capture on these two devices, we're going to start things off with the ultra-wide cameras, which honestly I think both of these perform incredibly well, especially in daylight situations like this. Then bumping into that main sensor, getting in a little bit closer. This is always the one with the best video quality possible just because the sensor itself is so large. And then 3x zoom on both of these. Now, there is a big difference in the sensor sizes and the lenses that are being used for these. You do get a lot more clarity out of the Oppo. But then we're going to jump into a 6x digital crop on that sensor on the Oppo, but then a 5x dedicated telephoto on the Samsung. That's as far as the Samsung goes, though we can go all the way up to 10x on the Oppo, and this here is a 10x crop on the Samsung. And this here's a look at video capture from the selfie cameras on these two devices. Now, both of these seem to perform fairly well, but I do like the wider field of view that you get out of the Oppo. Allows you to frame yourself just a little bit better with the background as well. And if you have somebody else that you want to fit in the shot, there's room for them as well. But let's flip things around to the rear cameras, just show you a difference between the selfie cameras and the cameras on the backs of the phone. Now, first up, we have the ultra-wide camera, which we're looking at right now. Now, this is always the easiest one to use just because it's so wide. Just put the phone up, record yourself, and you should be set to go. But it's not always the best one for photos and video. So let's switch over to the main sensor just to show you how much of a difference there is between the ultra-wide and the main. And finally, we move to the main sensors on the backs of both of these phones. As you can tell, there's a shallower depth of field, a little bit of separation between me and the background. That's because of how large the sensor size is. And you'll probably notice that it's definitely a lot better on the Oppo as opposed to the Samsung, just because the sensor that they're using is a lot larger in this case. it's getting dark out. It's time for some low light photos and videos with these two devices to see how they perform when lighting conditions aren't ideal. Let's take a look. Test out the selfie cameras in low light conditions. This here is always a good test. We have these bright lights right behind me here with a good opportunity to test out the dynamic range on these two devices. As I'm facing the light, does pretty well, but then as I turn, you can see that part of my face gets completely blown out on the Samsung. Does a little bit better on the Oppo here, but let me know in the comments which one you think does a better job. This here's a look at video capture with the cameras on the back of both of these phones, starting off with the ultra wide camera. Then we're going to bump into that main sensor, which is always the best one on pretty much any smartphone in low light situations. Just so much larger, letting in so much more light when there's not that much around. And then bumping into the 3x periscope camera on the Oppo, and just a standard telephoto camera on the Samsung. Bumping in a little bit closer, we have a 2x digital crop on that 3x telephoto on the Oppo, but a dedicated 5x periscope camera on the Samsung. And then of course we have the final zoom going to 10x dedicated on the Oppo, while it is a digital crop on the Samsung. To give you guys a second look at video capture with the selfie cameras with different lighting conditions here, but I'm going to flip things around to the rear cameras on both of these devices just to show you the difference between the quality and the light captured between the selfie cameras and the cameras on the backs of the phone. Now, shooting video with the ultra wide camera in low light conditions isn't really ideal just because the sensors are smaller and the lenses aren't quite as good, but it's easy to frame yourself. But let's flip things over to that main sensor now, just to show you how much of a difference there is there. And here we go, the final camera change here for this comparison. Let me know what you think with this main sensor. Honestly, it's probably the best one in low light conditions, allowing for much better light to capture, but also gives you that shallower depth of field for a much better look. And that's going to do it for the smartphone camera comparison between the Oppo Find X9 Ultra and the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Let me know what you think of the results in the comments below and which device you think is the better one for capturing your day-to-day photos and videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.